Hello everyone, in this video I am going to tell you about the Winawer Variation of the French defense. So let's start. So the Winawer French starts with the moves e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3 and bishop b4. So this is the Winawer French. Now the main line is first I'll tell you the aim. So basically what black wants to do here is kind of attacks white center. Like the threat is now to take d takes c4 because this knight which defends e4 is pinned. And white wants to show that this bishop on b4 is misplaced, like it doesn't belong there. So that's kind of like the point of the opening. Usually here white plays e5 to get this pawn out of the way. e5, c5 to attack d4, a3. Now bishop takes c3 is the main move. B takes c3 and knight e7. So this kind of looks like the advanced position, but like white has double pawns over here, and in return black's king side is a bit weak because the dark squared bishop isn't there. So knight e7 and queen g4. So this is the main line, and now over here like black can play queen c7, which is the poison pawn variation, where white gets some pawns on the king side, but black wants to like destroy white's center. That happens. Other than queen c7, black can also castle uh, with the idea just playing it safe, but like castling does bring your king onto the king side, and white will want to attack on the king side. And one more thing I want to mention is that over here these pawns are doubled, but white is also counting on the fact that there's a rook on this is a semi-open file, so this rook can take advantage of that. Yes. So castles, and like a move which castles bishop d3 and knight c6 just developing, that can also happen. And after queen g4, a new move that has started coming is king f8, which basically aims to defend the king side without like committing anywhere, just defending the king side. And if there's an attack on the king side, the king can escape easily. It will be harder to escape if you castle because there's a rook in the way. Then other than queen g4, uh, yes, other than queen g4, white can also play some other moves here. They include knight f3, which is kind of like the other main line other than queen g4. So then bishop d7, bishop d3, c4, bishop e2, bishop a4, like putting pressure on c2. Castles, queen a5, trying to attack the queen side. Bishop d2, knight c6, knight g5. Knight g5, the point is to play h4, so this knight gets out of the way. h6, knight h3, castles. So you will see that like black has kind of like developed an attack here, but really what is going to happen is white is going to play f4. Like you might play king h1 and then like f5. White just wants to crash through here. White can crash through very easily. Then after knight e7, white can also play a4 because the idea is bishop a3. And one more thing is that here a4 also stops some of black's moves, like queen a5 to queen a4, that is impossible. Same with bishop d7. If you want bishop d7, bishop a4, that's also impossible. And if you play b6 here, trying to get like bishop a6 or something, then a5 and your pawn structure is a bit bad. And one more move is h4, which kind of tries to start an attack on the king side. The idea like h5, h6, and the other idea might be rook h3 and g3, attacking on the g file. And like suppose black just develops h5. Now if you play h6, then we can play g4, bring in the other pawn. So that happens after knight e7. After bishop takes c3 also, black can like deviate. You can play queen c7 now, which will most likely just go back to the main line, like queen g4, knight e7. That just goes to the poison pawn variation again. But after queen g4, you can also play f6 or f5, trying to open the king side. And this is defended if f5, then like if pawn plus on, then knight takes f6. Same thing with f6. If you take, then knight takes f6, and this is pretty good for black. After bishop takes c3, black can also play queen a5, trying to attack the queen side straight away. And yeah, then after a3, after a3, black can also play bishop a5 instead of taking to keep the pin. b4, c takes b4, and now queen g4. If you take this, then this queen takes g7. This rook is trapped, so it's kind of an unclear position. Wait, it's not unclear. Okay, white is winning, and like over here, sorry, yeah, over here instead of playing queen g4, you can also play knight b5, attempting to get into this nice one on d6. If you take, just play c3. This bishop is kind of awkwardly placed here. So knight c7, bishop c7, and bishop takes a3. So this position I think is better for white because like just look at it. Black's pieces are horrible. White's pieces are much more developed. If this bishop ever moves, this knight will go into d6 and like it's just a monster over there. So yeah. Now instead of a3, white can play some moves. White can go for queen g4 straight away. White can go instead of a3. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Yes. You can play d takes c5 here. White can play d takes c5. White can play knight f3, like defending this pawn. And white can play bishop d2 with the idea knight b5 and knight d6, like I told you in the last variation. And just one more thing, I forgot to tell you this earlier. After queen g4, in like after queen g4, sorry, yeah, if white plays any move other than queen g4, like knight f3 or a4 or h4, like I said, then actually not an a4 but an h4, then black can try and play long castles in the future, then play c4 to block down the queen side, and play f6 to open up the king side and start an attack there, which works very well for black if the white king is castled on the king side. And but if you play c4, then like I'll just show you that. So knight c6, knight f3, bishop c7, bishop e2, queen c7, bishop e3, long castles, let's say short castle, then c4, like this would be one attacking here, and f6 trying to open up the king side. But after c4, yeah, after c4, white can try and play a4, and like instead of getting the bishop out this way, black can try and get the bishop out this way, which works if there is no piece on a4. So like maybe you try bishop d7 and a4, then knight c6, and you can choose how you want to play this. And okay, so where was I? Yes, so instead of c5, even black can play some other things. After d4, after e5, like knight e7, kind of like the main line, but not like the main line because this bishop, this this double pawn is in there. Then black can also play b6 with the idea bishop to a6, or queen d7 with the idea of queen g4 then f5. But both of these aren't very good, they're pretty bad, but they're playable. And so we come to the last area. After bishop b4, straight away white, instead of like playing the advanced kind of, white can play other moves like e takes d5. That's kind of like an exchange French. I mean, it looks very similar. You can play knight e2, trying to defend like this so that you don't get double pawns and giving away this pawn. Then a3. If you want to like, if you want to hold on to this pawn, the only way to hold on is playing bishop takes c3, takes, and like knight s6. But that's not needed because you're already a pawn up. So black will just go on bishop e7, knight takes c4, and white has no double pawns here. So white can try and play like c4, trying to expand. After bishop b4, bishop d3 is also possible, defending the pawn with the bishop. a3 is also possible straight away without playing e5. You take, take, and take. Then there's queen g4 again targeting g7. This g7 square is pretty weak in the Winawer French, targeting this and this. And you can also play bishop d2 here, which relieves the pin. And so that was it for the Winawer French. I just want to say one thing, like I'll open a new analysis folder for that. Yes. So one time in a tournament, like I was playing white, uh, my opponent played the French, so I played knight c3, played the Winawer, and I had never played against the Winawer before, so I didn't know how to play. Like there was no time control in that game for some reason, and like 3 minutes into the game, both of us have made like 20 moves. It was basically blitz. We were basically playing blitz. There was opposite side castling. He had castled on the king side. I had castled queen side. Then like one of my pawns was on g4 and my h file was open. One of my pawns was on g4 and his h file was also open. My pawn was on g5, sorry. I think he tried to exchange it with f6. Then I played g6 and like there was like unstoppable mate after that. I sacrificed both my rooks and then got my queen and mated him because there was a piece on e7. Yeah, the piece was on e7, the bishop. When I played rook h1, he took. When I played rook at the other rook to h1, he could have blocked. I had a knight on f3, so could have taken, but I would be down an exchange. I would be down an exchange, and he didn't realize, and I didn't realize that either. So that was like a very wild game. I won, checkmated him, and yeah. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.